Right. First of all, just a few housekeeping. Mainly because my mum and dad can't hear very well. I know it's a Sri Lankan do. Please, out of respect for them, if you could be quiet, that would really help. That's great. I don't want them to miss the speech. Number two, Dad says his hearing's all right. He just doesn't like listening to Mum. Anyway, so I better introduce myself. My name is Dhanushan. I'm their son. If you don't know, you shouldn't be here. So I can't pay for it. Welcome everybody. Mum and Dad asked me to do a speech. I know it's just, Mum just says, just do a speech. Just come up, on a Sunday afternoon while everyone's sober, just do a speech. It's never that easy. So I said, obviously, of course I will. They have given me some instructions about what not to say. Yeah, it's quite a long one. Number one, how the proposals were. Number two, anything about the dowry. Number three, don't make fun of anyone. So that's going to be quite boring. Anyway, so as per their request, welcome everybody to Dr. Paramathasan and Mrs. Paramathasan's 50th wedding anniversary. Hope you all have a good time. And that's pretty much it. More? You want more? Obviously, I haven't always listened to my mum and dad. I know it's surprising. So while I've got the microphone, I thought I'll just carry on and do a speech as I would want to do it. So I've been asking for some advice about how to stand in front of 150 almost sober, I say almost with a pinch of salt, sober people to give a speech, and people have said to pray first, done that. I'm thinking pray afterwards. Somebody suggested possibly to have a couple of Sri Lankan friends, and Ven has suggested this very good routine, so I'm going to let Ben help me. He suggested to have a couple of Sri Lankan friends with me. Oh. Sorry. So this is apparently Arak and Lenny. So let's go. Right. Welcome everybody, to Dr. Paramathasan and Mrs. Paramathasan's wedding anniversary. I'll just call them Mum and Dad because I feel a bit awkward calling them formally. Thank you very much for making the effort on this Sunday afternoon to be here, and I know lots of you have made a big effort to be here to celebrate their day with them, and it's even more special because it is actually exactly 50 years ago that they got married on the 26th of March 1967. Wow! First of all, a couple of bits. As you know, it's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day for everyone who's a mum, and also the people who are looking after uncles and aunties. So just a quick thing. Hold on 1 second. This is from Akka and me, Mum. I better do this because otherwise she makes me my food and looks after me. So boys, George, Harry and Louis, come up here. Give this to Mummy, Mother's Day, please. So a couple of thank yous to do first. First of all, Geetha Vijayan what a wonderful voice. I think that deserves a round of applause. Secondly, for our dancers, Myron and Darren's children, Sharon and Mubarak, thank you very much. Very brave. And thirdly, for a few people who've apparently made the pudding, that's, I've got to get the names, Sadaka, Yohaka, Mayura and Mali. Thank you very much. And your mum, yes, okay, of course. So I suppose we should really reserve judgment till we've had the pudding, but Mayura, I'm sure you guys are. Not forgetting, and I think this chap needs a mention, because he's conscientious, he's precise, he's accurate, he's our very own Gudgeon. Put the photograph. I know many of you have made a big effort to be here and travelled all the way from different places, but I think it's worth to mention that Nimala now, where are you? Stand up, let's have a look at you. Wave, so everyone knows. Thank you. And Mandiaka, please stand up, because otherwise they can't see you. Come on. Thank you very much for coming all the way from Canada. It's really appreciated. Now, I know everybody knows that Nimala and Mandiaka came purely because of Mum and Dad's food. For Maliaka, a close second is shopping in London. I mean, apparently that's what they say. I'm not so sure. There's even rumours saying that she's left her bag in Mum and Dad's house that she needs to take, but you know what? I think that's a lie. Right. There's a couple of more thank yous I need to do before talking about Mum and Dad. 2 thank yous actually. First one is because I have to, and second one is because I want to. First one I have to because it's my big sister Ruby. She told me, if you are standing up there, you better say thank you to me. Second one is to my Akka and Ravi, wherever you are. Thank you for organising, or big part of the organisation process for today to run almost smoothly. Almost. Right. Dad, as you may or may not know, should know, is from Woodville, so I thought I'd just put a few clips of Woodville to remind Dad. That's Woodville College, and the other one is girls' school. Yeah, I'm sure you were hanging around there at some point. Studying, Mum says. Yeah, we've done that before. Right, anyway, moving on. The second one is actually Maribana Market on Woodville Road. Right. I lived 28 years in Swindon. Come on, guys, give me a break. And that's Woodville Girls College. I'm sure Dad wouldn't recognise the colour of the bus or anything like that. And the other one is... they're just random from Google, seriously. You can make a story out of it if you want to, but it's got nothing. And the other one is the Holy Trinity College, church in Woodville, which, as you know, guys may know, is quite a big Christian or Catholic area. Dad was one of 7 siblings, and one of whom is actually here today. So, Mama, can you wave so we know who you are? Yeah. And oops, work. Mum was from Cookville, and that was Mum and Dad. That's Mum's Mum and Dad. Bala, Professor Bala's Ratnanti, and Ravi Uncle on the other side. Taken, I'm sure, is probably John Studios or whatever. The only place probably did photographs in the 90s, whatever it was. You can't not talk about Cookville without mentioning Nandavilaman Koil, which is essentially opposite our house, and that lovely train that went 3 times a day, at least, past our house, which is about 20 yards from our house, if anyone knows our house. Admittedly, it's probably quite dangerous with kids, but to be fair, it was a nice thing. And then Cookville, the other bits to mention, is the Cookville Hindu College and the theatre at Mandara London Pool as well. I've lost my words now. Right. Dad went to do medicine at University College in Colombo, while Mum went to do home economics at Jaffna Convent. Now, oh man, this is moving too fast, sorry. The proposals. I mean, I think it will be a missed opportunity to let this day go by without knowing that Dad was a Don and he had 5 proposals. Now, apparently, there were 5. Don't be alarmed, Dad's quite indecisive. It takes Dad to decide between 2 grey suits, 3 hours, and he leaves both behind. So we're not talking that he dissed those proposals, we're just saying that he had difficulty choosing, that's all. So Dad's mum, father, was from Cookville, so she was obviously very keen on the proposal ending up in Cookville. There's obviously an undisclosed sum of money, which I'm not supposed to mention, called the dowry. I worked it out in sterlings, current money, just to work it out. And you know what, guys? I think it's unfair to say it was an incentive. It's better to say it was a motive to get married. But you know what? Moving on, there was always the bride, Mum, age 19 or 20? Age 20, the beautiful bride. It could have been for that, who knows? The viewing. Apparently, Dad went with his family. That was Mama, Mami, Gauriaka, and Premanas. I don't know what Guarana was doing. Where is he? He's over there. And then in Mum's family was Mum's family and my Santi's family. So it's lovely to see my Maliaka and Walana here today, 50 odd years later. I understand on the eve of the viewing, there was a power cut. I'm not sure why Maliaka's really excited about that, but anyway. She's having a nostalgic moment. Power cut, yeah, Petromax. So Dad tells me they used a Petromax. Essentially, it's a petrol lamp. I'm not really sure how conducive that is to viewing a bride. So, I mean, at best, 2 people, at worst, Dad was showing somebody in the dark, and Mum was showing somebody in the dark, and they got married. At best, you could call it romantic lighting, when you go for those meals, there's a candle and you can barely see the person opposite. But moving on, as I said, this indecisive theme does go through, and I'm going to explain why later. Dad was very indecisive. He was just struggling to choose. Because, when you get 5, 6 proposal ladies all lined up, it's quite difficult. Oh my God, this is big. Right, this is a bit sensitive, I'm really sorry. So that was Dad. I'm guessing it was graduation. And Mum, what age? Around wedding time? 20? How old were you there? Graduation? Right, wish I had incorporated audience involvement. Right, Dad post-graduation and Mum just before getting married. And I suppose, hopefully, we'd like to think Dad chose Mum because she looked lovely when she was 20. I know some of you are thinking it's the money, it's a bit rude, but it could be true. But you know what, guys? What really pushed Dad to make that decision wasn't the money, so well done, Dad. Wasn't his mum. Wasn't really even the beautiful bride. Actually, it's this. Thank you. It's this man. Yeah, thank you. Some audience participation. Thank you, Myron. He's recognized his dad. The man who made this thing happen is Siddhapa. who is Chinekli, who finally, I mean, hopefully Myron and Myra, wherever you are, won't be offended. Sitapa was a little bit more keen than Dad was in making decisions. So although he was 1 year younger, he was already registered to be married and about to get married. So he gave Dad that little push, that Sri Lankan push to say, you need to get married because you're older. Thank you, Sitapa. Otherwise I won't be here. So finally, I've totally lost the train of thought. 1 week after they met, that's the only photo I could find. I know it looks terrible. Honestly, the house is much nicer, but it's covered in floods. The registration happened 25th of January, 1 week after they met in the dark. Just putting it out there. And for anyone who doesn't know, who's born and brought up here, I know we've only got a handful. Registry wedding, guys, essentially is legally married. End of. Right, moving on. Registry wedding was on the 25th of January, and it was held at the Kokoro House in Jaffna. Wedding day itself, understandably, was at Mandavalam Goil, right opposite, with all the food and everything on site, as expected. The best man and maid of honor, I suppose, Mark, everyone else, is, if I can get the laser pointer there, maybe not, that's Prof. Bala, Tati Uncle as I call him, that's Mum's brother, and that's Mami, who's Dad's older sister. So going on to the reception. Reception was held at Udiville, and unlike reception these days, it was held the day after, the 27th, in the afternoon, and basically people just had coffee, tea, and like some shorties. There were no alcohol, no meat, and if our Dad was organising that, I really wouldn't have organised that, but it was 50 years ago. I think it's something worth mentioning about the reception that happened in Udiville. Everybody went by car from Kokiville because it's quite a distance. There were two young lads who decided to take a bike, aged 11 and 9. They were Sivana and Bobby Anna respectively. Obviously they were big gangsters in those days, you know, taking 3-4 miles. And they went to the reception, and on the way back opposite Kondaville station, if you've ever lived in Sri Lanka or anywhere near Jaffna, you always have dogs chasing you. You can't help it. So there was Sivana, who's older, riding the bike, and Bobby, I know that's a lovely lady, I'm sure Bobby looks better than that, on the handlebar, outside Kondaville station, pedaling for his life, the dog chasing. You can just picture it if you've ever had that before. I can, I'm terrified of dogs. Sivana was looking back, pedaling, next thing he hits a banana tree that's on the floor. Both of them go over. Grazed, blooded, and poor Bobby Anna's case, chipped or broken tooth as well. Poor chap. So they come limping in, naturally way after the bridal party and everyone arrived. And as they walk into the house, or into the gates of Jaffna, my auntie sees the poor Bobby limping, grazed, wounded, blooded, chipped tooth. So what would she say to her son, Sivana? Okay. So you know, naturally you would expect a loving Sri Lankan mum to go running, hug, and pick the little boy up. Sivana's words on the phone were, she didn't even ask him, Adi, Nalladi, as he walked through the door. No questions, what happened, nothing. Just a good belting. Because they were supposed to go in the car, and both of them chose out of their own will to go on the bike and do their own thing. So, yeah, I think poor Bobby learned the hard way, and perhaps he should have gone with his mum.
I walked 3 miles.
Congratulations. You're lucky you didn't take that bike ride.
Yeah.
I think it's fair to say, Dad there, and Tati Uncle, I'm just going to refer to him as something, Prof. Bala, who's the best man, looked like the Don. I mean, they just looked for business. I mean, considering that's 50 years ago, that's not bad. I'm sure Daddy Uncle would have loved to have been there due to health reasons and everything else. He's not in a position to be here. But I'm sure he'd want to send his message, and also I'm sure he'd love to be here if he could. I know I can't bring him here, but I'm going to have a little go at giving him a little dialogue, so you've got to bear with me and give me a minute, please.